Marketing isn't what it used to be. The way we connect with our customers has fundamentally changed. And for those of you who haven't yet, it's time to rethink the way that we engage with our audience. For example, traditionally, a business was one of the first stops in a customer's purchase journey. But now, a business is probably closer to last. Let me tell you a little story. Imagine it's the 1990s. And John has his very own electronics store. It's a small shop. His marketing strategy is simple. He places ads in the newspaper and relies on people coming into his store with little to no knowledge about the products. One day, a customer named Sarah walks into the shop.
Hi.
She's looking for a new TV, but doesn't know much about the different types available. John takes the time to explain the features of each model, answers her questions, and guides her through the decision-making process. Sarah, feeling informed and confident after her conversation, leaves the store to consider her options, but ultimately comes back to purchase from John because she trusts his advice. In this world, John has 80% control over the sales process. The customer relies on him for nearly all of their research. John's role as the expert is clear, and his personal connection with Sarah leads to the sale. Fast forward to today. John's business has grown, but so has the marketplace. He notices fewer customers walking through his door, and when they do, they seem to already know what they want. One day, Sarah's daughter, Emily, walks into John's shop looking for a new TV. But something's different. Emily has already spent hours online researching the latest TV models. She's watched YouTube reviews, read blog posts, and scrolled through endless online forums. By the time she steps foot in John's shop, she knows exactly which model she wants, how much it should cost, and even which of John's competitors are offering a discount. John tries to guide Emily through the options, much like he did with her mother years ago, but Emily politely listens, already set on her decision. John has gone from being the center of the sales process to playing a minor role at the very end. He's no longer guiding customers like Sarah through the buying process. Customers like Emily have already made up their minds before they even walk through the door. John realizes that while he's waiting for customers to come to him for information, they were already doing their own research online. The world has changed, and so had the marketing process. The once 80% control he had over the customer's journey had now shrunk to more like 20%. John knew he had to adapt, so he decided to embrace this new world of content marketing. Instead of waiting for customers like Emily to show up to his store already knowing everything, he started producing online content that answered their questions before they even thought to ask them. John began creating YouTube videos explaining the latest TV models, wrote blog posts comparing different products, and shared insights into how to choose the right electronics. His content wasn't about pushing products. It was about providing value, solving problems, and helping customers make informed decisions. Soon, customers like Emily started engaging with his content. They watched his videos, read his blog posts, and by the time they were ready to make a purchase, they felt like John's store was the only choice. John wasn't just another stop on their sales journey. He became part of it from the very beginning. Through this transformation, John realized that today's customers don't need him for the same reasons they used to. They already have the information. What they need is someone who can connect with them, understand their problems, and guide them through the decision-making process in a way that feels personal and authentic. In the end, John's business thrived because he embraced the shift from being a guide at the end of the journey to being a trusted advisor right from the start. He learned that in this new world of marketing, it's all about being where your customers are, speaking their language and pulling them into your brand long before they ever walk through your door. That's a great story that really illustrates the way marketing has shifted, in the last 10, 15 years. It's crazy because it may seem outdated to some people watching this, but there is a lot of people out there who still go about it the old-fashioned way, and they're kind of sort of hanging on by a thread, wondering what the heck is going on. And yes, it was the case that people would sort of come to the business in the beginning stages of their purchase journey. They would have a need, They would go to the business, learn about the product or service, and do minimal research before that. I mean, they would look up places that sell that or ask a friend that sells that product. And then they would go there and talk to someone. And then they may leave, or they might purchase it right there. And then they may purchase it right on the spot, or they may leave to initiate that contemplation portion of the journey. But ultimately they would come back and buy that product or service. So basically 80% of the purchase journey was done after contacting the business. Whereas nowadays, it's more like 80% is done before even contacting the business. I'm sure all of you have heard of the 80-20 rule. It's been applied to countless different frameworks and lectures and all sorts of different applications. Because it holds true in a lot of ways. Let me show you what I mean by this 80-20 rule. I'm just going to open this up here. Okay, so let's call this the purchase, or I guess customer journey. And this is essentially a timeline. Okay? The timeline starts here with a need. Right? And then it comes over to the other side of the timeline where they buy. So back in the day, the 80-20 rule was flipped as opposed to what it is today. First, they would do a little bit of research, and then, boom, they'd hit up the business. That research was minimal, 20% research. And then after they talked to the salesperson, they would consider their options and then buy. It was simple. We're talking 20% here and 80% of it was here after talking to the salesperson. Now it's more like this. We have the need, the timeline. Ooh, look at that line. That was bad. And this is where they buy. And it's just essentially flipped. And by that I mean they're doing all sorts of research and considering options all the way up till here where they contact a salesperson or just the company in general, right? And there's just this small little 20% increment in between when they talk to them and buy, right? This is the 80% here. And in here, in this little area right here, it's like a brief little decision gap, right? But that's how it goes. It's essentially flipped over. It's just reversed. It used to be 20-80 and now it's 80-20. So basically what I'm getting at is potential customers are making decisions long before they ever talk to you. And they know a lot. There isn't much room to wiggle. They have so much access to so much information. It's a tremendous amount of information from online reviews to YouTube videos to blog posts, forums like Reddit, and they hit up social media. Like I know a lot of people who the first thing they do when they want to purchase from a company is they go check out their Instagram page or see if they have a YouTube channel, and they just start consuming their content. And they start consuming content about your competitors as well. They perhaps know more about your competitors than you do. They've put in the legwork. People really need to trust the companies that they're purchasing from now. So our goal now should be heavily focused on hooking our customers at the beginning of their journey. Finding out where they're at, finding out where they start their purchase journey with your products or your business, and finding a way to hook them in the first 3 seconds of them seeing something from you. Most of the time, that's all we've got is 3 seconds to hook them, to touch their emotions or pique their interest so that they will move on to the next part of your content. And hopefully, you're being strategic and relevant when presenting yourself to customers, potential customers. And like I said, you need to be where your customers are starting their research process. You need to be right there, ready to solve their pain points, solve their solutions, be the reason, be the answer that they're looking for. If you can provide value right out the gate in that first contact point, you will be leaps and bounds ahead of anyone else, because that will start building trust with that person. And trust is what converts. So obviously what I'm talking about is content marketing. If you're doing it, you're probably not doing it enough. And if you're not doing it, you need to start immediately. Don't get hung up on the cost of it or the resources it's going to take. I promise you, you can't afford to not do it. But I don't need to say that. Everybody else says that in the marketing world. It's not debatable at this point. I also want to emphasize what I'm talking about is content, not ads, not advertising. Ads are temporary. Content is forever. Content can continue to build and grow leads forever, essentially. But your content has to be good. It has to make sense, and it has to be relevant to your brand and connect and be creating connections with your customers. Think of it this way with content, not ads. Ads, again, are different. They're temporary. You can talk about yourself in an ad, right? Content should be talking about your customer. Content is like a first date, and I can't remember who said it, but he said, content is like a first date. If all you do is talk about yourself, you probably won't get a second date. One way that I've heard it talked about that I really like is your content should be pulling your customers into your brand. And pulling them in is talking about them. Pulling is talking to them, solving their problems, connecting with them. Pushing is talking at them about you, about your business. They're not the same. So basically what I'm trying to get at, what I'm trying to emphasize is your content at the top of the funnel should be providing so much value that they have no choice but to come to your company. So basically what I'm trying to emphasize here is how important it is to be relevant early on in the customer's journey. It can make or break that sale or conversion rate. But if you've laid the right groundwork in the top of the funnel and made those connections early on, those people are a lot more likely to become your customers. They're a lot more likely to connect emotionally with your brand, which is what you want. Because at this point in the customer's journey, it's less about the technical features and more about how your brand makes the customer feel. The features don't matter as much. What matters is that they feel like you're the right solution because you connected with them early on. Just to recap real quick, I want to stress the importance of understanding that there's a shift in marketing, and there forever will be. And you need to know where you can capitalize the most inside of a customer's journey, and where you stand inside of that journey, and where you can make the most of your connections inside of that journey. And it's important to understand that with content marketing, it's all about being there where your customers are, right? As soon as you possibly can inside of that journey, at the top of that funnel. Solving their problems as soon as you possibly can. Building that trust and that connection. So, if you're not doing it, or you do it but you don't want to put too much into it, I challenge you to double down on content marketing. It is the way of marketing now. It's super important. Like we said, it's how you build connections with people. And that's what people are looking for now, because they can't walk into a store as easily and be face to face with someone and connect that way. At least not like they used to. Even now, you go into certain stores and you're still interacting digitally with a kiosk that helps you shop sometimes. or helps you check out. That face-to-face isn't as prominent as it used to be, which is sad. But nonetheless, you need to stay ahead of it and get your digital presence up to snuff. So thanks for watching. In case you don't know me, I am Colin. I am a full-time working chief marketing officer. I make these videos when I can to help people on their marketing journey. And again, I'll be talking about other videos, or in other videos I'll also talk about moving up inside of a marketing department or firm. So if any of those things interest you, make sure you subscribe and make sure you give this video a like if you liked it. And if you have any thoughts about it, I would absolutely love a comment down below, because if people comment, then I can, maybe just answer quick, or it can turn into another video. That's just basically where I thrive. When someone's asking me a question, I do much better that way instead of coming up with this from scratch. So thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day or night or whatever it is.